What's going on, Dogman Dan here. We are in Project Cars Pagani Edition, which is a free game. I would say more of a tech demo, if you will, for your computer to see if you can actually play and enjoy this freebie before you purchase, let's say, Project Cars. And that's kind of what I'm doing here, and I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So just kind of quickly about this edition. It is on Steam, of course. It is free to download. It's about 3 gigabytes to download. It includes 5 Pagani cars, 3 tracks, Nürburgring Nordis Combo, the Monza GP, and Azure Coast as the tracks. You can do a quick race weekend, set up different races, and so forth with multiple players and so forth. You can also do time trials. It is all single player, so the multiple players that are set up are AI controlled. In terms of vehicles, you're the Hyera, the Hyera BC, if I said that right, the Zonda Cinque, the Zonda R, and the Zonda Revolution. I am actually using the Cinque throughout this, and the recordings that you see will be my very first time on each of the tracks, as I played all 3 of the different tracks. Spent about 45 minutes on this between setting up the wheel, which really didn't take that long because the wheel was immediately recognized as my Thrustmaster wheel. Just did some quick calibrations and I was off and ready to go with that. But I had a lot of visual and audio things that I had to change through here, and I had to change them over and over until I got set up happily. And by set up happily, I wasn't experiencing frame rate issues, more or less. By the time I hit the Nürburgring circuit, which is probably what you're seeing on this video anyway. Sure, I'm not the best driver, but I can tell you without a doubt, now that I've got a wheel, and I've been playing with my wheel and using my wheel since I got it, racing games are entirely different. Immersion's entirely different. The feel of the cars are entirely different. And I feel like I can actually compete to some level, you know, and I can play and I know I can get better, which is a good thing. Now, when I'm talking about this game, and I've got a lot to kind of figure it out, okay, because I've played a lot of Assetto Corsa, I've played a lot of different sim racing games, if you will, throughout the years. Obviously, SMS, Slightly Mad Studios, originally they created with EA years and years ago, they created Shift 2, and that's kind of like what I was going in with this. Is I felt like most likely it wouldn't be an Assetto Corsa like hardcore sim, but more kind of a mix between sim and arcadey, which is kind of what the Shift series was always. It wasn't really pure sim, if you will, and that's exactly the way it is. For me to be able to get into a car like a Pagani, and immediately start racing and doing fairly well, I would say, except for one time when I really screw up on here. Doing fairly well and handling the car. Obviously, the wheel makes a huge difference because I can feel the car. I can feel when it's loose. I can feel, you know, when it's not, and when the car is kicking out, that type of stuff. You know, I can feel all that. That does make a big difference. But it does feel more arcadey sim, if you will. Much easier to roll, much easier to play, much easier to use, versus the steep learning curve of Assetto Corsa, especially if you do not have a steering wheel. With Assetto Corsa, it can be very complicated. Now, that is not to say that you can't play it with keyboard and mouse. I've seen people do that. It's not to say that you can't do it with a controller. I did it for years with a controller. But obviously it is 10 times more immersive, and I don't know if I'd say easier, more controllable, I would say, with the steering wheel. But, you know, I'm on the fence about it because the game is not hard. It's not, I mean, the quality is okay, you know, it's kind of it's exactly what I expect, arcadey simish. It's a good fine line if you're trying to get into it. You just got a wheel and you're trying to get into something that's fairly new versus going all the way back to like the Shift days. This is probably a good spot for you. But with the demo, you get the chance to see it for yourself, whether or not it's actually playable, and that's where things get a little bit weird. Um, you know, it's on sale for nearly 70% off. And I've been sitting here thinking about it and thinking about it. And after playing for 45 minutes, I'm still thinking about it. I did not get a definitive yes, go out and get it versus no, don't go out and get it. So the gameplay itself, it's not bad if you know what it is that you're getting into. It's not a hardcore sim. Okay, it's not hardcore sim. Assetto Corsa is what I consider hardcore sim. You got a lot more things inside of Project Cars. You got a lot more vehicles, a lot more tracks, a lot more, you know. In that respect, when you get into the actual game, obviously not in this free demo, but so you have that. I believe for me that the career mode probably would be better in Project Cars than it is still to date in Assetto Corsa. But when we're looking at this game, one of the problems I had, and you'll probably see it at some point in the video several times, is shadows, effects, glaring, if you will. I don't even know how to say it, but you'll notice that the sun glare from shooting through the trees looks really fake on the windshield, and it gets really bothersome pretty quick. You'll notice that randomly the dashboard just starts blinking and, you know, going back and forth like really bad, like you're supposed to be going in and out of the sun and the shade, and it's just doing it on its own even when you're not, and it's just pure glitching, and that's something that just keeps getting to my eye. Kind of see it in my eye, and it keeps bothering me every time I'm playing it. And little shit like that really takes away from being immersed in the gameplay. And you would figure after this game being out for a couple years that stuff like that would have been addressed and fixed. And that's kind of where it's holding me off the line in purchasing the game. I mean, you know, every game's got glitches, but very glaring glitches that I can see, you know, poor shading, poor lighting, poor shadows, whatever you want to call it, weird glitching, whether it's just this car or whether it's other cars, I don't know, because I don't know the actual game, you know. Could be all the cars could suddenly have the dashboard issue. But that's a problem for me, and that's kind of holding me off on, I can't even say investing, because I mean, we're talking 70% off, it's only like $10, but even at $10, I don't really feel compelled to purchase a game that visually is going to have issues like that in what is supposed to be this really visually stunning game. It's not. And when you're racing and you have bad glaring effects and weird things happening, and it distracts you from the actual race, you know, it's like, is it actually worth it? So I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, I'd like to get the game just because it's a good spot to to play, kind of really get myself better at racing versus the heavy curve of Assetto Corsa. But at the same time, at least with Assetto Corsa, I don't really have graphic glitches like that. The cars feel so much better than they do in this game as well. Much more immersion, much more deeper immersion. I feel more road. I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but it just feels more realistic, if you will. And yeah, so I don't know, kind of on the fence still, but I wanted to kind of get out there and talk to you guys about it. I mean, if you want to try it out before you buy the game, just know that there is a free edition of the game out there. Like I said, it's 30 gigs. You can download it, try it, see what you think for yourself. And then if you like it, everything is good, go ahead and hop in and get it. I noted that no matter what I did, I would still have frame rate drops. Not significant, you know, but for the way it is, I mean, I could be driving along at a good 75, 80 frames, no problem, and then just randomly, because of a shadow, it would drop down to like 45 to 60. And that was kind of weird, and it's very noticeable for those brief few minutes that it would do it. So I don't know. I think I'm still on the fence. I'm not as impressed with this as I would have been, but I wanted to get out there and kind of showcase that to you guys. You know, for people that value my opinion, I guess, just in case you guys are interested in it. Anyway, I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.